Hello and happy gaming, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and today's episode of Isaac is going to be just a little different from normal. See, I've... Sorry about that. That was lovely. Now, I've spent a lot of time talking about certain aspects of the game, except I haven't actually talked about one of the most important aspects of the game, which is what necessarily everything means, all the little technicals and whatnot. So we're going to take a run just as base Isaac. Oh, lovely. Okay, so Curse of the Labyrinth. What that means is that basically we're combining the two halves of the first chapter into one big massive floor. Now, that's going to do a couple of things for us. For one, it means that both of the bosses are going to be back to back. It means both item rooms need to be accessible here. It also means that because technically there's only one floor that we're going through, it means we only get one shot. So, I'm happy that missed. So, Curse of the Labyrinth has some side effects that most people don't think about, because normally it's like, okay, well, yeah, you get 2 item rooms, so it covers everything, right? No, because it cuts in half your ability to get... There you go. It cuts in half your ability to get shops, it cuts the number of devil deals you can get in half, except right here on the first floor, where there's only one, her first chapter, where there's only one to get in the first place. Yeah, that's the one I shot earlier. Aha. A couple more coins, not bad. And here's our first item room, where we will get Undefined. Not a big fan of Undefined. So let's turn it into something else. 10 bombs, alright. The D6, of course, is going to allow us to reroll items, and that in turn is going to make it so if we find something that we're, not too big on, we can always just turn it into something else. So we have chances, but I might want to use my second... Hold on. Let's just make that easier on me. We might want to use our next chance at a reroll and save that for potential devil deal, pig Latin. Don't mind me, I'm completely losing my train of thought here. But we're probably going to want to save this for the devil deal, see if we can get anything really good out of the devil deal room, but part of that could be predicated on finding a soul heart, which at the moment is looking a little iffy. Who knows, maybe if we're lucky we get a soul heart out of that new curse chest. Or, we don't even have to think about this anymore, like, at all. So we're gonna take Gimpy. Sorry, I just finished eating. My body is still producing that stuff. I have a surplus of bombs, so there's no reason not to use them for combat and blocking the pathfinding AI. And there's our soul heart, so we'll be able to get back into that room. Whether or not we want to take Little Brimstone is a whole nother story, but typically I take Little Brim. I don't have a problem with him. He might not be so useful towards the end of the run, but he'll be relevant for a good long time. There we go. And the card is Wheel of Fortune, but we're missing something. I just finished explaining that this is a Curse of the Labyrinth floor. That means there's another item room hiding from me somewhere. Alright, so let's take out the first boss. It is the Haunt. It's not necessarily a fun fight. Remember, the little haunts do follow your controller inputs, so they can be a real pain to deal with. Oh, you son of a... Alright, so that was a bad move on my behalf. I probably should have paid more careful attention to his movements. But we got him with both explosive barrels, which... well, there goes my soul heart. Belly button plus a trinket. It's a trinket I don't want. But we now have more trinket room, which is always a positive thing. Alright, so I said I was going to be explaining some of the technicals of the game. So let's actually... By the way, I just noticed I actually have a 0% Devil Deal chance, even though I didn't lose a red heart. What that means is that the boss room is likely of a strained pattern as designed in such a way that a Devil Deal can't spawn here anyway. So that red chest was actually kind of a big help for us. Contagion. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but at the same time it's not bad. It's actually a very good item. Basically, the first enemy in each room that we kill will burst into a poison cloud. And when it does, that enemy will spread that poison onto other enemies, assuming that the poison cloud hits it. Very good. And yes, we will take that because I could use the soul hearts. Now, this does put me in a somewhat difficult situation of none of my stats went up. And I bring it up because, in general, the bosses will almost always drop something that boosts your stats. So this would be a good time to go into what each of the stats does. There are exceptions, of course, like, well, for instance, belly button. Come on, just die. Thank you. Alright, so one of the things that's important to bring up when we're talking about the technicals of how the stats work is that this game does run at the 30 frames per second. It's just Rebirth's frame rate, which of course carries right over into Afterbirth Plus, since Afterbirth and by extension Afterbirth Plus are DLC expansions on Rebirth. Ugh. Not playing well right now. But I have also been playing a lot of Dead Cells and One Step from Eden, so Isaac's skills have kind of slipped a little bit, so apologies if I'm playing like absolute trash. So, why is it important to know that the game runs at 30 frames per second? Well, it's important to know that because that actually determines how your tears rate works. Now, you may have noticed playing the game that your tears stat actually goes down. With Isaac, it goes down starting from 10, and... oh, come on. These stupid things have way too much health. They're like mini-bosses, almost. Matter of fact, I imagine they have more health than some of the mini-bosses. Oh, come on. Somebody die here. Thank you. So when your tier stat is improving and... I'm sorry, what? Sorry, say that again? So you just phase through bombs now? Okay. This run is going to make me very upset. So, as you can see, because we didn't get any sort of stats or any sort of tier effect, rooms like this are a goddamn nightmare. Yeah, I don't want black hole. That helps, but unfortunately we're in such a position now where I am just... If I don't find like a soul heart or an HP upgrade or something along those lines, I am screwed. And of course you drop half a red heart in the pit that I can't even reach, so thanks. Thanks for that. And it looks like the game is doing its absolute best to not give us a soul heart. There, got one to force spawn. That's good. Alright, so back to what I was saying. And this is becoming kind of a stressful run because they've decided that they wanted to throw things at me that I am not prepared to handle. Hold on. Damn. I suppose I should have figured. Okay. I'm having to concentrate harder than I'd like to be, so I'm having a hard time explaining what I want to explain. Because I find the technicals of this game very interesting. And once you understand them, it's a lot easier to understand what exactly is happening in the game. For example, going back to what I was saying about the tier rate, your tier delay goes down because it's not necessarily... Because what it's measuring is the number of shots you can fire, or how long you have to wait before you can fire another tier. So, with a tier delay of 10, by the way, this is absolutely horrible. This run is just god-awful. What that means is that you can fire one tier every 10 frames. So you can understand why when you have a high number as a tier delay, that's not a good thing. Because that's not measuring how many tiers you can fire a second or anything like that. That is, as I said, it measures how many tiers you can fire within, or rather, how many frames it takes to fire a tier. So Isaac's default fire rate is 10. That's 3 tiers per second. Keep in mind that 1 frame is exactly 1/30th of a second. Razor blade, I don't want that. Multi-dimensional baby. Okay, so everything I'm getting is just mediocre at best, with the exception of Contagion and Sagittarius. My stats are not improving even a little bit. And sometimes you just get runs like that where you'll have to play your ass off just to reach a level that those of us in the know like to call average. Alright, so we've determined that your tier delay basically means you can fire one tier every number of frames indicated by your tier rate. Right, and that's exactly what makes characters like the Keeper awful. And it's because he has a hard time controlling space because he can only fire, in his case, one tier every 24 frames, which means, or in this case, it's not necessarily one tier because it's the Keeper we're talking about, but that's what essentially I'm getting at, is one shot every 24 frames. Okay, this is getting stressful. Okay, I didn't even see that fucker there. So since we're talking about our offensive stats, I may as well move on to what exactly the damage stat means. Put very simply, your character's damage stat, or I should say Isaac's damage stat, please die, thank you. What that essentially means is when you, and this isn't necessarily an exact formula, but with using his default damage, because I don't think we're ever going to get more damage, because the game seems to be against us actually getting better. And yeah, Little Gertie. The game seems to just want me to continue to work at average stats, which will slowly scale to be below average stats, and we'll be working with that forever and ever until the end of time. So what 3.5 means is that essentially what you're going to be doing is multiplying your... Whenever you score a hit, you roughly multiply your damage by 10, and that's how much damage you do per shot. So, with a damage of 35, you multiply by 10, which basically means move the decimal point over to the right one. That means every shot does roughly 35 damage. So that should give you a pretty good idea as to how much health some of the bosses have. And yeah, incidentally, how ridiculous some of the health totals get in the game later on. Okay, let's try to turn Little Gertie into something more useful. Unlike that... Alright, trying to get myself a better item here. The game seems to want to throw all the garbage at me. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is gonna be one of those runs. I think we all know what I mean by one of those runs. Once again, to kind of give you perspective, with each tier doing about 35 damage, if you say you're coming up against an enemy that has 350 health, that means you have to hit them 10 times in order to kill them. That's the gist behind the math that we're working with. Which means an enemy that has 3,500 health would take 100 shots to kill, And you can see why you want that damage stat to go up, as well as your tier stat. Neither of which has improved for me, because the game has decided that I can eat a dick. Oh, really? My luck stat is improving nicely, but I mean, that means nothing if I can't get one of my other stats to improve. Ugh. Oh my god! Give me something other than health upgrades. What the hell? Alright, so as you can tell, if we don't start getting something to improve ourselves soon, this run is jolly well fucked. Because, as you well know, things only get harder as you go further down. And with the game having decided that, you know, I'm not worth getting any better items to, basically what's going on is that the game has decided for me that I don't get to, you know, make it. Oh. Even with the D6, the only thing I can roll into is absolute unmitigated trash, apparently. Oh, look at that! That was a complete waste. And I lost another bit of health because I can't kill any enemies fast enough. Yes, this run is going to make me start to rage pretty soon here, because this seed is awful. I'm thinking I probably should have taken Little Brimstone instead of Gimpy. But I didn't notice in time that the game wasn't going to let me back into the Devil Deal room, because I'm just a dumb little silly wee-wee head, and I don't get nice things. By the way, the awful seed that I'm working with is SHQA-ZJ8X. So if you guys want to try this seed for yourself, go ahead. I would argue that there's nothing here worth looking at, but like I said, that's my own fault. I probably should have taken Little Brimstone. At least then I'd be able to actually control the space around me. Yeah, almost 24 minutes into the run according to my recording software, and we still have yet to get a significant stat upgrade. We got that speed upgrade from Sagittarius. Shut up. And Curse of the Labyrinth, so joke's on you if you were hoping to get another Devil Deal chance. Hey player! Go fuck yourself! Also keep in mind that not all, but most champion enemies will tend to have double their normal amount of health. Sometimes they'll have less than double, but sometimes they'll have a little bit, sometimes they'll have well more than double if you run into a giant champion. Alright, so to continue talking about the technicals of Isaac over this terrible, terrible, no good, very bad seed, your shot speed and range. Now, what they mean is obvious, but how they're calculated is actually very interesting and explains how some other items work. So let's take shot speed first. What shot speed is actually measuring, it's obviously measuring the velocity of your shot, but for the most part, it's measuring about... Oh, there we go. Everything is awful! Jesus Christ, everything has so much health, and I'm not getting any sort of help. Oh my god, stop! Jesus Christ, those things had so much fucking health. Yeah, I don't care about money. I don't really care about this either. Yeah, actually, I think that's a good idea. Please, give me something else. Anything else. I've only gotten one good thing, and well, arguably 3 good things. I've gotten Contagion, which, whatever. I've gotten Pure Sagittarius, which is good, but not enough to save this run. And I've gotten Boom, which the effects of which I'm still... Really? Really, game? Please give me something better. Hey, this is better. It really is. But I need something stronger. I need even better than this. I'm not going to re-roll the D6 because that's another opportunity to roll an item. Oh my god, this room again. But as you'll notice, enemies are now dying faster because instead of firing one shot every 10 frames, I'm now firing one shot every 7 frames. I also have Varicose Veins because, you know, that's what I rolled into. I think as of right now, I need the school bag because I want to go back and pick up the actual D6. Because I need as many opportunities as I can to try to become better. The game isn't offering them to me, so I have to try to force them. That's going to make it so that I can occasionally... Alright, so... I haven't found an item room yet. A big surprise, the game is probably trying to hide them from me. But what? No, fuck that guy, he doesn't get item rooms. What are you talking about? This run is so terrible. And you know, credit where it's due, I'm not doing well either, but... I would be doing better if I had some sort of upward momentum going on, some sort of growth. And it's kind of as I thought, no item rooms, because of course. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back and fight the first boss. Potential for a Devil Deal item, that's very nice. I was hoping it would hit both of them. Dead cat. It's not that I don't appreciate it, it's that I need something different. That helps. Not gonna lie, it helps. Alright, I'm not going to use the D100 yet. There's a good chance that I'm going to want to wait until after the Devil Deal room so I can reap the benefits of Goat Head. But again, I would be lying if I said that this run was going anywhere near as well as I thought it might be. I came into this with no expectations. None. And somehow the game has failed to meet those. It's failed to meet no expectations. I've taken lots and lots of bad damage here. No. Okay, where are the freaking item rooms? Jesus Christ, I've been at this run over half an hour. That's just how bad this is right now. Okay, well, we can at least get Bookworm. And that I might need to keep. But we'll see. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Oh, and there's Greed, because of course. At least he wasn't in the shop, but I mean, it's not like there was anything useful in the shop either. And now I know that there's basically nothing useful here either. But I am going to take this. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a risk. And I just noticed I have Cursed Eye. Son of a bitch. I also have Incubus and Isaac's Heart. No, I need to re-roll off of this immediately. Two of the worst items in the game? No, no thank you. This has to go, like, right now. It's a shame, because there are actually a couple of really good items here, too, but Cursed Eye by itself can wreck a run. Okay, I'm not going to reroll Sacrificial Dagger. Not that I know why it matters, honestly. Honestly, it could be anything, but the fact of the matter is I just want to get rid of it. So, and once again, talking about how the tier delay thing works. When you have an item that charges, what the tier delay is going to change to represent is that it's going to take that long for the item to reach its full charge. So that's what you're seeing when you see the charge time on Brimstone. Virgo, yay. Alright, so let's see what happens when I use this battery charge, use the D8. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, well, that kind of worked out. Okay, need either the D100 or the D4. I gotta get off this run. Actually, no, I don't technically have to, because I could just work with this. But a run with Cursed Eye and Isaac's Heart? Oh, no, 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 no. See, and that's why I don't want Isaac's Heart. I don't care if the rest of the run works. Because those two items in tandem will destroy me. So we have the D100. I mean, this is going to be one of those all-day runs. As you can see, it's 35 minutes. I'm not even to the womb yet. Why? Because this run is a joke. Oh, Fire Mind! Oh, isn't that lovely? Okay, well, we're just gonna have to keep re-rolling, hopefully, until something comes up. Something more positive. This run has decided to try to make a fool of me. I must now actively decide that I'm not going to allow it to. Okay, there we go. Now, I would just use the knife that's following it because of the Yes Mother transformation, except for I don't really know how to get that thing to work. But by all accounts, it is going to be my best damage dealer. The only good thing about this fight taking as long as it is that maybe it'll give Charge Baby a chance to finish charging my D20 here, and then I can turn that into a different die. Oh, screw you. Oh my god, Fire Mind is gonna kill me at this rate. My goodness. D6 again. Okay, so I gotta make it through 2 more rooms with this bullshit. I know I was explaining shot speed, but right now I'm having a hard enough time just living. But to attempt to continue what I was saying, because this is supposed to be talking about the technicals of the game, your shot speed is essentially measuring your velocity, but what it's essentially doing is it's acting like a timer. It's a timer for how long your shot will stay on screen. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm describing range. What the shot speed stat is doing is it's essentially... Alright, so we've got another shot at the D100 here. I just need to not be an idiot. Please roll me into a better run. You know, Dark Sage, it looks like that run is working out just fine for you. Oh, trust me, it won't be. Fire Mind will kill me if I simply leave things as they are. So the range stat is essentially a timer. That's, I believe what it's measuring is how many frames your tier stays on screen for. And, oh wait. Okay, what all do I have here? Oh, once again, I'm thinking I want to try again, because this is not good. Fortunately, I only have to do 1 more room and I've got the D4. 2.28 damage. What the hell?
We can use this.
Yes, we can. Well, no tinted rock. Thank you, buddy. Alright, so now I'm back on track. So the range stat is essentially a timer that will show you how long your tier how many frames your tier will stay on screen for, roughly. And the shot speed stat is the speed at which those tiers move. Hermit, the Emperor, that can be nice to hold on to. Tower, Death, Ace of Hearts. Alright, well, give me the Death card. I don't even care.
Eradicated.
Not as much as I would like. Also, what is with this decision that my base damage is now 2.28? This run is just terrible. Okay, something needs to die here. So, and this is a good time for me to explain why you want your damage or DPS stats to be consistently improving. Because the enemies that you're facing will also continue to continuously improve. But if you're not improving, then you're... Basically what it boils down to is if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. It's basically as easy as it gets. Oh, Dark Bomb is helping. I'm glad he didn't get replaced yet. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said that I was happy with the state of this run.
Destroyed.
He is being factual. Things were indeed destroyed. Of course. Oh, damn it. I screwed up. I feel like I screwed up when I hit the start button. God. Okay, I think I found what I'm sticking with. Okay, finally found something that will work. Only took us nearly an hour to get there, but this run will work. Alright, I can see that I have Cricket's Head, Sad Bombs, and Sacred Heart, so I think that's what we have to stick with. Plus I can also see I have a 4 tier delay. So one shot every 4 frames at the sort of damage I'm talking about, and yeah, this is definitely... I'm also seeing that I have the Rune Bag? Guys, come on now. And I have Homing Poisonous Sad Bombs. Alright, so yes, this is definitely where we make our stand. Now, what we really need is a little bit more shot speed. Remember what I said, the range stat is what's going to determine how far your shot is, how long your shots will stay on screen for. The shot speed stat essentially determines, and yes, it's essentially how fast they travel, but what it's really measuring, my goodness, what it's really measuring is come on now. Is essentially, I mean, to be fair, that is about what it's measuring, is how far they'll travel. Oh my goodness, are you serious? No, I don't want them. So I can only get HP ups. That's all the game actually wants to give me. And what I'm doing is I'm using the dice to force something different to show up. Because the game really doesn't want to do me any favors right now. Of course.
Destroyed.
It's almost looking like Curse of the Tower is going to kill me. It's alright, I still have the D4 from the D Infinity, so if this starts to get really bad, I can always change it up. But I mean, at this point, I'm actually capable of killing things, so the frank fact of the matter is, I'd rather not. Pardon me.
Anything to prolong a soldier's life.
Yes, please. You know, Dark Sage, you could have saved that for the chest and duplicated all those treasure chests. I could have, but I'm looking at two things right... Fuck you. Looking at two things right now. I'm going to take this back to the Demon Beggars and see if I can't get some goodies. Oh, it's Curse of the Blind. Isn't that lovely? Ah, crap.
Every lost resource must be recovered.
And this is Potato Peeler? Use it twice.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
Alright. Yes, I am a little bit on edge. How nice of you to notice. But, because of Potato Peeler, we have just a little bit extra damage. We have a little bit extra range as well, which will help my shots stay on screen longer. And on the point of range and the idea that it basically determines how long your shots stay on screen for, that would be one of the reasons why the lump of coal and either my reflection or Tiny Planet combo works as well as it does, because those things improve your range, but not in such a way that you really notice. What they're doing is they're just improving how long your shots stay on screen for. And with that in mind, you can understand why something like my reflection would work well with I didn't see a tinted rock there, I don't think. Why something like that would work well with... I do see a tinted rock over there, but I can't fly. With lump of coal. Because they just... lump of coal improves your damage in large part on how far away your tier is from you. But that's generally just... But the range is determined by how long your tier stays on screen, and that's more often than not what Lump of Coal is looking for. Well, why doesn't Lump of Coal and Ludovico create infinite damage? You have a point there. Let's take a risk. Oh, I'm Guppy now. That was a risk worth taking. We're still low on health, though, so we gotta play it nice and careful. But Guppy does offer a very strong chance of getting out of this run, you know, alive. There we go. Okay, so doing this room was actually a huge boon, because it gave me a lot of soul hearts to use. Because I... Okay, what is with the cursed rooms? They're just trash.
Death is patient. It will wait.
No, Dark Sage, you could have used that for Isaac. Isaac isn't that hard of a fight. No, I have my own plans in mind, thank you very much. Plus, remember, I've got some homing poisonous sad bombs. I'm pretty sure I'll be okay. Yes, birds. Yes, this run is kinda eh. This is like a trailer trash run right here. Perthro. And this was the Empress? Yeah, Perthro is more valuable. Then your speed stat just determines it determines your movement speed, but I believe what it's more accurately measuring is how far you can move during a single frame. Which I believe shot speed is essentially doing the same. It's just except for in that case, instead of showing you how fast you're moving, it's showing how fast your tier is moving. Alright, so that's not doing anything. You got to pretty much skip the entirety of the second phase of the fight. I love it. No, I'm not going to Delirium. Kidney stone, fruitcake, book, underwear. Okay, I don't want any of that. I want this. The rest of that is oh so average. And no, I'm not taking Haemolacria. I will take this. The rest is not good. Give me that. So hopefully that extra little bit of understanding into the world of Isaac. I love that line. Yeah. Hopefully that little look into the world of Isaac helps you understand not only what the stats are, but why we, those of us who play this game regularly, look for what we look for. And sometimes what you're going to be looking for is not always what seems most logical. Because at any given time, you're going to be looking for tiers and damage pretty much like religiously. But there are times in which what would be best for your run would actually be shot speed. And that's happened to me on a number of occasions where, despite what I have going for me, the best thing for the run would be a stat I don't normally care about. And then there are times in which you'll look at a stat and go, oh, that stat's not important. And then when you don't have it, you go, boy, I wish I had more of that stat. And generally, when I say that, I'm talking about shot speed. That is typically, shot speed and range are the stats that we most typically ignore. Yet the fact of the matter is, those two stats are, I mean, as far as anyone is concerned, quality of life stats. But I think they're just a little bit more important than that. I think those stats are worth a little bit more of a mention than that, because those stats are the reason why, to me, Dead Onion is kind of a very iffy pickup. And now we're Mr. Beelzebos. Perfect. Give. So right now, if we could see how much damage my shots are doing, they'd be doing right about 102 damage, all things considered, and the flies are going to be doing double that. Which, because you have to take the 0.6 into account, I get the feeling they'd be doing 213 damage each. And they spawn every time I fire a shot, or every time a shot hits, I should say. Now we have a little bit more shot speed. And the reason why I'm seeing so many treasure chests appear right now is because I have an above-average luck stat. Now, the luck stat affects a lot of things throughout the game. It affects item drop rate. It has an effect on a lot of different items and tier effects that you can pick up. It is sort of a general all-purpose, this is a great quality of life stat to have thing. And I've been known to almost overvalue having a good luck stat. A lot of people will say that your luck stat isn't important or it's a little overrated. I say you are not doing anything wrong by trying to get a good luck stat. Just don't necessarily go out of your way for it. Like if you see a lucky penny but you have to walk over spikes to get to it, for example, maybe let that one go. Okay, so now we've reached the ultimate. Because of purity, we now have a 1 fire rate. This is the ultimate in fire speed, because now this means we're firing 1 tier every frame. That means 30 tiers per second. That means Isaac is literally a machine gun. Our little man here is putting modern ballistics to shame. That's what he's doing right now. Not a big fan of the finger, actually, so I'm not going to pick it up. And Blood of the Martyr. Okay, well, that is going to finish the run. I'm honestly very, very surprised that I completed it. No, I'm still not going to go fight Delirium. You must be out of your mind, game. Not only does it continue to prove the idea that sometimes in order to get a run to work, you've got to be resourceful, but it also goes to show how important it is to get good stats. If your tier rate and your damage are still the same on the 3rd chapter as they were on the 1st, you're in big trouble. Because now not only are the enemies getting stronger, but they're also getting more numerous. That's why it's so important to make sure your stats are good. Your speed stat, if it goes down, you're going to have a harder time dodging things or outrunning chasers. That's why that's important. And even though we talk a lot of crap about why range and shot speed aren't important, being able to attack things from further away means not having to engage it nearly as directly as other methods, which means more chances to dodge. So every stat is important in its own way. Just what do you need to round out your run, or is one of your stats so good that some of the others don't matter? No. Take that with you. I hopefully got through the idea of how the stats work in this game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative through all of my complaining. And I will see you guys in a future video. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.